Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The Indo group here has always welcomed AA speakers, and tonight we are fortunate to have a real alcoholic share with us. Paul O. from Laguna, Niguel. Thanks, Paul.
Good evening. My name is Paul, and I'm a real alcoholic. And I'm glad to be an alcoholic. I thoroughly enjoy being an alcoholic. I think everybody ought to be an alcoholic. I like being an alcoholic because I love this way of life. I hear people say they're happy to have this way of life, but they're not happy to be an alcoholic. And I don't know what good the program would do you if you weren't an alcoholic. I don't see many non-alcoholics beating the doors down trying to do these steps. And I'm glad to be here tonight. And of course, alcoholics always say that they're glad to be anywhere. But I'm particularly glad to be here. I've been to meetings that are bigger than this, but I've never been to one that's more enthusiastic than this. You guys are crazy, as a matter of fact. I don't know if word ever gets around, this room won't be big enough. I mean, a lot of crazy people looking for just something like this. I love enthusiasm. I just love enthusiasm. I love enthusiastic people. And even if somebody's doing something wrong, if they're doing it enthusiastically, I'm on their side. I find that if I don't feel enthusiastic, I try to act enthusiastic, because if I act enthusiastic, I tend to become enthusiastic. And I'm even enthusiastic about the word enthusiasm. As I understand that En means within, and Theos means God, and means the God within. And it's my feeling that when I act enthusiastic about my life today, and who I am today, and what I'm doing today, my higher power is pleased, because he's just gone to an awful lot of trouble to make me who I am and give me to make me an alcoholic and give me this way of life and push me into it. And I think he likes for me to like what he's done. He likes for me to like his handiwork, and makes him enthusiastic when I'm enthusiastic. Anyway, I don't know why. First off, I want to congratulate the birthday people. I think that's terrific, and I want to welcome all the newcomers. We've got a lot of newcomers. That's great. And we're all glad you're here. And in fact, we're so glad you're here, we don't even care whether you're glad you're here. In fact, if you're brand new to AA and you're just so happy, and you can't imagine doing anything but this every night for the rest of your life, and you just think your life is so wonderful and you're just terribly happy, we may not be able to help you. But if you think this is all a bum deal and they're here by mistake, especially if you think you don't belong, the bad news is that makes you one of us. And if you feel different, you are different. We are different. We're all different. There's no two of us alike. If there are two of us exactly alike, one would be unnecessary. We are. There are no two of us exactly alike, and yet we are more alike than we are different. And you can spend the rest of your time in the program looking at the differences, making comparisons, or you can look at the similarities. And one way you end up staying sober, and the other way you end up getting drunk. And I suggest you look for the similarities. It's easier to find than the differences. And I feel a little bit like a hypocrite saying that, because that isn't the way I came in here. I see him doing all the court cards. I would like to have counted the court cards, and then the reason I'm saying that is I went to, I think it was Riverside. I went to a meeting at Riverside, and it must have been close to a court or something. And they had 20 newcomer cards. We got 12. The trouble is I didn't count the number of newcomers. But at Riverside, they had 20 newcomers cards, and they only had one newcomer. And so I've kind of gotten in the habit of not only welcoming the newcomers, but welcoming the non-alcoholic drunk drivers. Because we're really glad you're here. Stay here till I get all the way home tonight. And if you're not an alcoholic, pretend you are. Just quite try it on for size. Fake it. You can fake it till you make it. But I came here. I always feel a little funny when I say I came here. I didn't come here so much as if I just picked myself up and decided to come to AA. Actually, how I got here was that getting a pass to come here was the only way I could get a pass to get off the nut ward of the hospital I was on the staff of. It wasn't very funny. It wasn't. I was there by mistake, and I had a brain tumor, and they missed it. And like I was just saying the other day, AA not only helped me with my drinking problem, it helped me with my brain tumor. And I remember sitting there on the nut ward, commiserating with myself about the series of misdiagnoses and mistakes and poor medical management and bad breaks that ended up a nice guy like me in a place like that. And while I'm thinking this dumb psychiatrist who couldn't see that my problems were strictly marital walked up behind me and asked me if I'd be willing to talk to a man from Alcoholics Anonymous. And I thought, God almighty, Doc, don't I have enough problems of my own without trying to help some drunk from AA? I didn't know anything about alcoholism, didn't want to know anything about alcoholism. I said, all I knew about alcoholics was if you treat one of them, they'll all start coming to you. And that's all you'll have is a bunch of... In fact, once the people find, the good patients find out you treat alcoholics, they'll stop coming to you, and all they'll have is alcoholics. And they never pay their bills or keep their appointments anyhow. But I could tell by the look on his face that he thought it was a good idea. And I don't know if you know that or not, but happiness on a nut ward is having a happy psychiatrist. They told me it was going to be on the bookcase behind me, didn't they? That was put out by an alcoholic. This is a lousy glass of water, and there must be a quart there. I used to buy my beer in half quarts, 6-pack of half quarts. And anyhow, where was I? Talking to that dumb psychiatrist. And so I went to these meetings, and I remember the guy. A guy came and saw me, and he was giving me a long story, loud voice. really hurt my feelings. He was talking real loud and talking about drunks and alcoholics and us Alcoholics Anonymous and all this stuff. And I was thinking, my God, man, it's really embarrassing. I was thinking, why don't you lower your voice? I mean, all these people think I'm a nut. Why don't we just leave it at that? You know. And finally, I don't remember a thing he said. I don't remember a thing he said, except I remember how he ended. He finally said, "Well, that's my story. I'm going to a meeting tonight. Would you like to go along?" And I said, "Hell no, I won't like it, but I'll go." Because I figured to go back and squeal that dumb psychiatrist. And so we went to the meeting, and I don't know what meeting we were at, and I don't know who led or who read or anything that was said. Or I don't even know how many meetings we went to before I knew what meeting I was at. But I know that meeting had a profound effect. Had a profound effect on the psychiatrist. He was delighted, and he wanted to know all about it. He wanted to know about what's this about steps, what's this about book, what kind of meetings was it, how many kinds of meetings, how often they have meetings, how soon you go to meetings, all this. Oh, I thought, my God, I've got me an alcoholic psychiatrist. He's ashamed to go, so he's sending me, you know. So I wanted to go to all the meetings I could to get to impress the psychiatrist and get enough brownie points so I could get discharged. And I finally got him, and I got out of there. I had no intention of going back again. But why would I? I wasn't an alcoholic. I drank. Of course I drank. We lived in a drinking society. But I wasn't one of those dumb alcoholics. And but the trouble was that Max liked the meeting. My wife liked the meeting. And of course, once I found out she liked me, and if she didn't act nice, I would use that against her until I wasn't going to meetings anymore. And I did that once too often. And we lived in Anaheim, went to meetings in Laguna Beach, so we wouldn't run into anybody we knew. And she got in the car one time, and she can't drive the freeway. She got in the car and drove down the freeway. She went to the meeting by herself. Drove all the way down the meeting by herself. I don't know if you've ever tried that or not, sitting at home on a Saturday night drinking while your non-alcoholic spouse is off laughing it up at an AA meeting. Yeah. I had to go back to the meetings to find out what they were laughing about. I found out they laugh at anything. You know? They laugh at nothing, you know. Even laugh at things they ought to be embarrassed about. And I sat there, and one night after 7 months, one night I found myself laughing with them. I haven't had a drink since. You know? And, to me, the laughter is very therapeutic. Very therapeutic. It has a lot to do with sobriety and with this program. In fact, I'm convinced that my higher power laughs anytime he hears alcoholics and Al-Anons laugh, even if he doesn't understand the joke. You know? It is like the spiritual quality of the laughter. But anyway, that was after I said after 7 months. So that's how I got alcoholism. I wasn't an alcoholic. Oh, I said I was an alcoholic because they liked that. All the alcoholics raise their hand, put your hand. Oh, he said he was an alcoholic. You know. I thought, God, they're easily amused, you know. But I after 7 months, I guess I went to one meeting too many. One less meeting, and I still would have made it out there. But I found that's how you get alcoholism. You get it. I thought I was raised and trained to believe that you got alcoholism by drinking alcohol, and that's not true. You get drunk drinking alcohol, but you don't get alcoholism from alcohol. You get and my theory is you get alcoholism from other alcoholics. It's a virus. It affects your brain. It goes in through your ears. In fact, if you're not alcoholic and you want to stay away from alcoholics. I mean, if you're here tonight and you're not an alcoholic, just keep your mind wide open. Keep it wide open so whatever goes in goes right on through. If you're around a place like this and you hear anything and you identify with it and you think, gee, I felt like that, you suppose I might be in a boom, you're an alcoholic. Yeah. Once you suspect it, you've already got it. It's too late. And you won't get any sympathy. I mean, turn to the person now, you say next to them, I think I might be now. Oh, we got another one. Put your hand up. You think they got a bonus for every new member or something. They love to infect you. And when I first became alcoholic, I was hardly alcoholic at all. Hardly, just the least little bit. Just almost a non-alcoholic. Just a little bit. And the thing is that because it was kind of like I had to become an alcoholic and so I could quit drinking. But once I became an alcoholic and then kept coming to meetings, I became more and more. And today, after 27 years, I am much more alcoholic than I was when I first became alcoholic. When I first became alcoholic, I had even listed of things I wasn't. I wasn't a drunkard. I wasn't a wino. I wasn't a lush. I wasn't a Skid Row bum. I was more allergic to alcohol. Just I can't drink safely, sanely, sensibly, socially. I can't drink worth a damn, as a matter of fact. Not only that I can't drink, I can't stop drinking after the first drink, which would really not be any problem, because all I'd have to do is not take the first drink. But the trouble is, not only can I not stop after the first drink, I of myself can't keep from taking the first drink. I mean, that's my powerlessness over alcohol. I can't keep from drinking, even though I know that I can't handle it when I drink it. If I can't resist the first drink, I'm sure not going to resist the second or the third or whatever. Or if I did take a drink and found out I didn't have to take a second one, I'd know I could have a drink and not take the second drink and not get drunk. So I'd have a first drink and again until I found myself accidentally drunk one more time. So I'm really powerless over how much I drink and whether or not I drink of myself. AA and my higher power keep me sober today. And I'm much, as I said, much more alcoholic now than I was then. In fact, I've even had a bit of a pill problem. Well, I never became an addict, though. I didn't. I never ever took a pill unless I had the specific symptom that only that pill would relieve. I either had it or I could feel it coming on. Every pill I took, I took according to a doctor's directions and my own, as a matter of fact. But I was very careful on that pills. I never got hooked on pills. I mean, the only way you can get hooked on, ask any doctor how people get hooked on pills. And he'll tell you, first off, he'll tell you none of his patients ever get hooked on pills. But he'll also tell you that you can't get hooked on pills unless you abuse the pill. You have to abuse the pills in order to get hooked on it. I don't even know how to abuse the pill. How do you abuse a pill? Throw it up against the wall, you stomp on the thing, and verbally abuse it, you dirty, rotten little pill. The pills I took, they were little, very tiny little pills. And just to look at them, you could tell they were very mild. And I was even very careful about where I carried them. I used to keep them with my change. And people say, you got change for $1? And I say, yeah, go like that. They say, oh, you carry sucking all around in the daytime. So I switched and put it over with my keys. Go out of the office, walk up to the car and take my keys out of my pocket. And the Quaalude, run down the street. Damn thing would always run faster than I could run. And I didn't dare stomp on it or I'd abuse it. then I took a few narcotics. I took a few narcotics, but those were more like between meal nourishment or something. I had a lot of respect for narcotics. I mean, I heard somebody the other day it was really annoyed me. The guy was wasting Demerol. Well, Demerol is a beautiful, potent drug. I mean, he was injecting it in the muscle. And oh my God, anybody knows Demerol should be shot in the vein. Waste a lot of it. I took some morphine and dilaudid, but gee, that's awful. I mean, I had to practice medicine one hand on morphine and dilaudid because you have to keep scratching your nose. But the other makes my nose itch just to think about it. It's hard to practice medicine with one hand. And besides, it would tend to make me vomit unpredictably. And patients never got used to that. It just occurs to me that people talk about how the problem, working this program and how life is tough and working this program is tough. Man, being a practicing physician and a practicing alcoholic and a practicing dope fiend was the hardest work I have ever done. It was really hard work. I mean, even getting to sleep at night was a hard night. I didn't have a drinking problem, I had a sleeping problem. And I used to worry all day about whether I was going to sleep at night or not. Sleeping pills didn't work until the next day. And tranquilizers hadn't been invented yet. And that's how I got to drinking, was I found out that I'd go to bed and I'd drink a couple of beers real fast and jump in bed and sleep real fast and wake up smart. And I went on in school and training and all this other stuff, and as years went by, I drank more and more because I thought it was my responsibilities were increasing. And then it got so hard to get up at night. I mean, to stay asleep at night, I had to take more and more to get to sleep at night. But I never became a morning drinker. Never became a morning drinker. I'd have no respect for a doctor who would drink on the job. I never became a morning drinker. I had a 5 a.m. shut-off time. It was 5 o'clock or after, I wouldn't drink. I just act like a martyr all day. But then I got to taking amphetamines. I don't want to advertise amphetamines, but I really don't know if I'd had the stamina to have completed my pre-AA training period if it hadn't been for amphetamines. They did have side effects, though, and they affected my hearing. In that I couldn't listen fast enough to hear what I was saying a lot of times. What are you saying that again for? You've already said it 5 times. I don't know. It just sounds so good. I think I'll say it again. I even got to where, in order to get to sleep, the epitome of trying to get to sleep at night was shooting sodium amytal in my vein at night. Who said yeah? It's good, real good stuff. It's an instant blackout's what it is. I mean, it's not as good as Demerol, but it's really good stuff to get to sleep. And but I couldn't go to bed and lie there and have my one daughter call the other daughter and say, "Hey, Ann, come watch Daddy take his nightly fix." And I couldn't go down to the office and put myself to sleep and then drive home and go to sleep. And so I'd have to keep the stuff out in the car. I'd go out in the car, and thank God the garage, the car was in the garage, and the garage was attached to the house. And I kept my bag in the car, and I'd go out there, and I'd get out the needle and the syringe, and I'd suck up the amytal, and I'd try to figure out how much I had to drink, how many pills I've had to have, how many uppers, how many downers, how much I can squirt this in, take it out, throw it in the car, slam the car door, run down the hall, jump in bed, so I could fall asleep. And it was hard to time it. There was just no time delay in there. In fact, it's the least little bit, just the least little bit too much, and I just zing right under the car. And and or worse than that, the least little bit not enough. And I squirted in, take it out, throw in the back, slam the car door, jump down, run down the hall, jump in bed. Nothing would happen. Oh, damn. And I'd have to go back and do it over again. And then, of course, when I took the needle out, you're supposed to put a Band-Aid over or something like that. Well, I didn't have time to fool around with a Band-Aid, for God's sake. So I would hold it up like this. I'd do all this putting in the back, slam the door down, and I'd run down the hall, and then I'd run into Max, and then I'd try to act casual, you know. And it's hard to be casual when you're in a hurry, you know. Anyhow, I ended up in the nut ward. That's what I ended up, and ended up going to A&A, and went to one meeting too many, turned into a mild alcoholic, and when I got to AA, I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed. I thought, what am I doing here? What am I doing among these people? And I thought, I have really hit the bottom of the social barrel. I mean, in fact, that brings up another point. I find that I've always thought that AA as being the bottom of the social barrel, and yet I find alcoholics just love to look down on Al-Anons, or even worse, an Al-Anon will decide they're an alcoholic and think they've taken a step up when they joined AA. There's something wrong there. We've got them fooled. But anyhow, but the point was that when I became an alcoholic, I decided that I wanted to be a sober alcoholic. I mean, I came in, I had no respect for AA or alcoholics or AA members, but when I turned into an alcoholic, I thought that's the minimum of what I could do. I've not been I was a sexy. A success and be a drunken doctor and an addict, and I thought the minimum I could do is be a successful member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I set out to do that. And over the years, my interpretation of the word successful has varied some, but I said that's my primary goal in life today, to be a successful member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and some days I have the feeling that's all I've accomplished. At least I didn't drink today. I remember the first time I heard a big, healthy, husky guy stand up at the podium and say, "If I don't drink today, I'm a success today." And I thought, God almighty, what a lowly goal that is. But I was still drinking at the time. And today I realize what a tremendous goal that is, what a tremendous accomplishment that is, because when we stay sober, clean and sober, we're doing something that nobody out there can do for us. The medical profession can't do that for us. Only AA and God, and we can keep each other. I can stay sober, you can stay sober. We can stay sober, but I can't say that the way I want to. I can't stay sober, you can't stay sober, but we can stay sober. It takes the power. Alcoholics banded together have a power far greater than the power of the individual members. That's what we feel in this room, and the energy in here. It's a tremendous power in this in AA. Tremendous power. You hear the stories all the time. And I drunk every day for 35 years, and comes to AA and never has another drink again. And, you hear it all the time. It's a powerful thing that we laugh and joke about. anyhow, I decided to be a successful member of AA, and I don't know what a successful member is exactly, but I've never seen any successful members who drink or use. And in fact, that seems to, I've been quite impressed with that about AA, that we don't drink. We don't, in AA, we don't drink, we don't use, we don't. We just, no matter what happens, we don't drink. No matter what. No matter what happens, no matter what doesn't happen, we don't drink. We don't use. We just don't. In fact, we're kind of noted for that we don't. I haven't even had an occasional drink, and in fact, I think if I'd had an occasional drink over these last 27 years, I wouldn't be standing here with 27 years of sobriety. I think that not drinking has had a lot to do with my sobriety. It's got a lot to do with it. Anyhow, my problems today aren't related to drinking. I have problems, but they're not. Just don't drink and don't think. I don't even have a problem today. I don't even have a problem today, unless I think I do. If I think I do, I do. I've never ever thought I had a problem and been wrong. I mean, I think I have a problem, I have a problem. I alone determine whether or not I have a problem. I alone determine the size of my problem. Doesn't matter what you think. If I think it's a big problem, it's a big problem. If I think it's just a little problem, no matter what you think, it's just a little problem. I don't have many little problems. I don't bother with them. Like resentments, I don't bother with any but the justifiable ones. In fact, if I have a problem, a little problem, all I have to do is think about it. I don't have to work on it. All I have to do is think about it. My mind is a tremendous energy factory, and it shoots the energy out into whatever I think about, like a powerful searchlight or laser beam or ultraviolet light, and it'll actually make stuff grow. I can take any little problem. In fact, I can start with a non-problem. An obvious non-problem. I thought, well, hell, that's no problem. Oh, I suppose if you thought about it enough, it might be. And I get to thinking about it, and I'm watching it, and I get fascinated with watching it grow. And pretty soon I'm thinking, by God, it's a good thing I'm looking at this. And the reason it's a good thing I'm looking at it is because everybody else is missing it. And then the worst thing that can happen for me is for somebody to call me on the phone. I'm always giving out my phone number. We live in the 714 area, bankrupt Orange County. The whole place is in the 714 area. Our number is 240-3940, and I get some call with somebody with some little stupid problem, but you can't just up and say, well, that's a stupid problem. They'll go around AA and talk about you, and so you have to act interested. You have to do active listening. You have to do active listening. I mean, all the counselors know about this. You act interested is what it means. And you ask questions. Oh, and then what did you do? And how did you feel about that? And then what else have you done? And you keep asking questions until you're both so sick of it you don't want to talk about it anymore. And then you give them the answer. And what's the answer? Pick a number from 1 to 12. They work that step. It doesn't matter what number. You give them the third step, they'll turn it over. And you give them a number, and it doesn't matter if the number's out of order. It doesn't matter. They'll find that out. But at least you have to be careful about that number 4 or 5. I mean, They may disappear if you do that. But you don't want to try to help somebody that isn't going to work the steps anyhow, because otherwise you're just a welfare worker. I'm not welfare, social worker. You're not really working the program. And but what happens to me then? I get back to my problem and I find out it's left. It's wilted down, or my problems are very, very fickle. Very fickle. They won't wait around too long. They'll go find somebody that'll give them all the attention they deserve, my God. And that's one of the worst things about problems. They have such a high infant mortality rate. They're very fickle, very impatient. They'll leave, go find somebody else. In fact, I think we don't really solve our problems so much as we just tire of them and we move on. And so anyhow, but I am very conscious today of my thinking, not only of my drinking, but of my thinking, because I find it isn't what happens to me that matters. It's what I think about what happens. If I think it's bad, it turns out to be bad. If I think it's just a growth opportunity and it's a learning experience, it's that. It's what the committee. I have a committee in my head, and I don't know how you think, but I think by this committee is talking to me. They talk and talk and talk and talk. My head is full. You think this room is full. My head is full. There's all these people. But you're sitting there quiet. They're up there talking. They talk and talk and talk and talk. That's all they ever do is talk. They never do any work. They just talk. And in fact, they're up there now, and they will make one of them will suggest something I talk about, and somebody, that's okay, except one over here will suggest something that I talk about. Then they get to fighting among themselves about which I should talk about, and it's very distracting. They're shouting back and forth, and all this confusion going on. I think, my God, shut up there. You know. They all shut up, and I can't think of anything to say. You know, it's just. In fact, my life depends on who of those people I listen to. And I used to, there was one up there who used to say, no matter what the situation was, no matter what the occasion was, one answer, I said, well, it's time to have a drink. Yeah. And every time he said that, I thought it was kind of an order from God, go get a drink. Some of the things they say are not only have to do with drinking, but a lot of them are lewd and illegal. I'm really glad you can't hear all the stuff I have to listen to. You think it's bad listening to me, you ought to hear what I have to listen to. I used to follow a lot of these stupid, or now I just say to them, well, thank you for participating. Now, if you'll sit down, we'll call on somebody else. I got a meeting going on all the time. So anyhow, I've been very careful, very conscious, rather, of what Father Barney used to say when he came down from Seattle. He used to put on retreats for Alcoholics Anonymous until he died. And I don't have any idea what he's been doing since then, but he used to say, he used to divide sobriety up. He said it was like a baseball diamond. Sobriety was like a baseball diamond. And first base was physical sobriety, second base was mental sobriety, third base was emotional sobriety, and home plate was spiritual sobriety. And I like that. I like breaking things down, just like I like breaking sobriety down into just one day at a time. And it seems to me that the first step, admitted we're powerless over alcohol, is just on the other side of the first step. Of the first base. We get physically sober, we take the first step. Second step, came to believe power greater than self could restore us to sanity, is just this side of second base, mental sobriety. And the rest of the steps are on the rest of that diamond. And I put in there marital sobriety or relationship sobriety too, and even financial sobriety. And the steps, and the way I see it, the steps are on that diamond, and we spend our entire time in recovery on that diamond. And we're always moving. We're either moving further into further spiritual sobriety, or we are unconsciously drifting back toward a drink. we can't stand still. The only people that stand still are people that steal first base, you know, and try to steal the rest of the bases, you know, without doing the steps. And if they're lucky, they get another chance at bat. But other than that, the rest of us are moving one way or the other at all time. It's a subtle thing. I saw a computer program where you put data in the computer, and it automatically makes a graph out of the data. It'll make a pie graph or a bar graph. It's a real clever gadget program. And I thought, what would a graph of my life look like? And I decided that what it would be a giant V. That my life started 76 years ago, way over there, and it's going to end way over there. You know? And from where it started, it was on a downhill course until I ended up in the nut ward. And that wasn't bad enough. I had to go to AA. You know? And after 7 months of AA, I turned into a mild alcoholic. And from that moment on, my life's been getting better and better and better. And it's just getting better and better and better. And it's far better than it's ever been. It's far higher on this end than it ever was on that end. And I see the only limit I see as to how high that can go is how long I can stay around doing the things that are keeping on an upward curve. Now, I don't mean that it's been a straight line up. It wasn't a straight line down. It was up and down, up and down. Just as we go down, I'd do something, it'd go up, and I thought it was better, and it'd go down again. I didn't realize it was downer than it was the last time I went down. But it was up and down. The same way now. Some days, some weeks, some years are better than others. But the long-term trend is up. This is the best life I have ever known. I guess the point being that they say that this is a progressive disease. And it's so obvious that it's progressive and you keep drinking. In my case, it's been progressive over 21 years because I'm more alcoholic today than was when I came in. So they're not kidding when they say it's progressive. The nice part about it is that sobriety is progressive. Sobriety is even more progressive than the disease is. And I like that. But what really impresses me is the point of that V. On July 31st, 1967, the course of my life changed from getting progressively worse to getting progressively better. Why? The only thing I can see is that I accepted the fact that I, of all people, strange as it might seem, and even though I had no choice in the matter, I am a mild alcoholic. You know. And I decided to become a successful member of AA. And my life's been getting better and better ever since. And I didn't approve of it. I didn't approve of being an alcoholic, but I accepted it. Approval has nothing to do with acceptance. Today I approve of it. But approval comes retrospectively rather than prior to acceptance. And as I see it, I accepted the challenge. I accepted the challenge of living life successfully in spite of the fact I can't drink, use, take drugs, pills like other people. And can't keep from doing so of my own volition. I accepted the challenge of that. And I think that's what life asks every one of us at every moment of every day. Life's going to go on. What role do you want to play in your life today? Do you want to be the victim or do you want to be the hero? Do you want to play a leadership role? Or do you want to be a winner? Or do you want to be a whiner? I think that's what life asks every one of us every day, every point of every day. And I know I went from the role of victim to the role of hero in my own life story. And I think that's a terrific way to go. And I went over by 30 seconds, and I'm really not all that sorry. That's just too damn bad. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's give Paul another hand. Thank him for coming here to share with us. He'll be up here after the meeting too, if you'd like to share with him or thank him personally. I haven't asked anyone yet to read A Vision for You. Would you like to read it? There you are.
My name's Trish, and I'm an alcoholic and an addict. A Vision for You. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order, but obviously you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.